I still remember the moment I realized something had shifted. I was sitting on the edge of our bed, phone in hand, scrolling aimlessly when a notification popped up. It wasn't the kind that makes your heart leap with joy. It was from a number I didn't recognize, and the message read, "Can't wait to see you again tonight, winking face." I laughed at first, trying to convince myself it was some kind of prank, a wrong number. But the pit in my stomach refused to disappear. The funny thing was, nothing had felt wrong before that moment. Sarah, my wife of 6 years, had always been predictable, loving, warm, but sometimes distant in ways I never questioned. I shrugged it off, thinking maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was just being paranoid. But then came the missed calls. She was never unreachable for long. Her phone buzzing without explanation became the first of many small alarms that made me question everything I thought I knew. I tried to rationalize. "She's busy," I muttered under my breath one night, watching her smile at a text and hide the screen so I couldn't see. I told myself I had no right to feel suspicious. Maybe I was imagining patterns where there were none. But the unease kept growing. The late nights at work, the whispered conversations she brushed off as just friends, and the sudden defensiveness at the slightest question. It all started to feel like pieces of a puzzle I didn't want to complete. One evening, I noticed her laptop left open. I told myself I wouldn't snoop. It wasn't me, but curiosity or maybe desperation got the better of me. And that's when I saw it. A series of messages, tender and intimate, sent to a name I didn't recognize. Every word, every emoji, every late-night apology screamed betrayal. I froze, my fingers trembling over the keyboard. The person I loved, the person I trusted with everything, had been living a lie right under my nose. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. But mostly, I wanted to disappear into the memories we had built, the laughter we had shared, and hope that somehow this was a mistake, maybe a joke. But no, the evidence was there, undeniable. The photos, the messages, the little details that suddenly made sense. The perfume I couldn't place, the soft laughter that wasn't mine. I felt like the ground beneath me had turned into sand, every memory slipping through my fingers, leaving only the raw ache of betrayal. I confronted her quietly, trembling with anger and heartbreak. "Sarah, who is he?" My voice was steadier than I felt. She looked at me, eyes wide, not with fear, but with that strange mixture of guilt and relief, maybe. I didn't mean for you to find out this way," she said, voice cracking. It wasn't like I planned for this to happen. Her words hit me like a cold slap. Planned or not, it was happening, and I was living it. "How long?" I asked, already knowing the answer, dreading it. "Months," she whispered. "I never stopped loving you. But I don't know. I felt lonely. I felt invisible. And he was there. I wanted to scream at her. I wanted to tell her she had destroyed everything, that she had turned our life into a lie. But instead, I sat there listening, letting the words wash over me, each one a jagged stone in my chest. I realized then that betrayal isn't just about the act. It's about the slow unraveling of trust, the way it makes you question every smile, every touch, every quiet morning together. I left that night, packed a bag in silence, the weight of 6 years pressing down on me. As I walked out the door, I caught one last glimpse of her, sitting on the edge of the bed where we had laughed, argued, and dreamed. Her eyes were wet, filled with regret and apology, but it couldn't undo the truth. Weeks passed. The pain didn't vanish. It morphed into something else. A strange clarity settled in, like the moment after a storm when the sky is still gray, but the air feels cleaner. I replayed memories, not to haunt myself, but to understand. The moments I had loved weren't lies. But the future we had imagined together, that had been stolen. I learned something vital in the silence that followed. Self-respect isn't about vengeance. It's about standing up for yourself when everything familiar collapses. It's about walking away from what's broken, even when your heart wants to stay. I didn't know what the future held, but I knew it had to be mine to shape, untainted by someone else's choices. I sometimes think about her, about the life we shared, the laughter that now echoes hollowly in memory. And I feel sadness, yes, but also gratitude. Grateful that I can rebuild, Grateful that I can reclaim the version of myself that deserved honesty and loyalty. Losing my husband, my partner, my confidant, wasn't funny. It was the kind of heartbreak that pierces quietly, reshapes your world, and forces you to learn the hardest lesson of all. Love doesn't always protect you from betrayal, but leaving with your dignity intact teaches you that you can survive it. And survive I have.